Hey everyone, welcome to another amazing episode of Chevalier. My name is Sebastian Michaelis, and we are here to begin and continue the conversation of helping people find happy, healthy, and mutually beneficial relationships. And I think that's really important because my whole focal point is to build relationships between people who want to be together, who are coming to the table in good faith, but most importantly, are coming to the table with the sense of wanting to be loved and appreciated. Happy, healthy, and mutually beneficial. So, to me, in 2022, that's the new focal point, and I'm hoping to spread the message amongst people that want to find that love, that want to find that happiness, that want to find those means of being with someone who wants them as much as they want you. So I really appreciate you guys who are contributing to the content, who are sending me messages, who are giving me different topics that you guys want to discuss. And at some point, I will be uploading videos of debates. Well, not really debates, but discussions that I'm having with young ladies about dating, about relationships. Because I think it's always fair to get a balanced perspective rather than just hearing my view all the time. I'm always going to give my view, but I want you guys to be able to see how other people feel about dating, relationships, and what they want or don't want. So that way it can be more balanced. So I want to thank you all so much for joining. I want to continue the conversation on topics that single people want to hear in hopes that I can educate someone that will help them find the happy and healthy relationship that they're looking for. So with that being said, thank you all so much and welcome again, welcome again, welcome again. Today's topic is no romance without finance. And I know I've spoke on Facebook about this topic with several guys, and there was a kind of a mixed reaction sort of thing where a lot of guys was like, well, if she's with me for my money, then I really don't want to be with her. And so I was furthering the conversation by saying it's not necessarily saying she's with you for your money, but that it takes money to date successfully in the first place. Now, does that mean you have to always spend money when you go on a date? The answer is no. And I always tell a guy you should never be spending more than 10 to 15% of your paycheck on a date anyway. Because 10 to 15% leaves you or should leave you enough money where you can still take care of your financial priorities. Rent, food, bills, subsidies, and everything in that nature. I always tell guys never go on a date where you put yourself in such a financial strain where it causes you a hardship down the line, especially if it's a date. Well, really, period. But especially a first date. I often tell guys, especially if you meet someone on the internet, never have a first date with someone until you've met them in what I consider a meet and greet. Starbucks, Caribou Coffee, Applebee's, even TGI Fridays, Buffalo Wild Wings, Taco Max, where you can actually get a chance to sit down and engage the situation with minimum investment. And I've spoken to young ladies who say, "Oh, well, that's being cheap," and then I say to them, "Then you pay for your own food." Well, then what's the point? Well, the point is to meet someone for a happy and healthy relationship. If you're looking for someone just to spend money on you, then dating should not be a priority. Matter of fact, you shouldn't be dating in the first place, because the whole purpose of dating is to vet someone for a relationship who you would want to be engaged to for the end game goal of a happy and healthy relationship that will lead to marriage. Marriage is the end game. If you don't want to get married, you should not date. So that's why I tell guys, engage in things that have minimum financial investments when you first meet someone, especially if you first meet someone on the internet. Because at the end of the day, if you're not dating for the purpose of marriage, then you're either just looking for friends with benefits, you're looking for someone to take advantage of, or you're just looking for a good time on somebody else's dime, which I always recommend to guys is the worst case scenario. I often tell guys who are my clients who say, hey, how do I go about knowing if this woman is right for me? The first question you ask her is, are you dating for the purpose of a relationship that will lead to marriage? If she says yes, then pursue. If she says no, then let her see the curve. Because if she's not dating for the purpose of a relationship that will lead to marriage, then what's the end game? And the possible end games other than a relationship we'll discuss down the line. But when you decide to financially invest in a woman for the purpose of a relationship, it's best to know up front that she even wants a relationship. Because sometimes you can go out with someone they don't want a relationship and you're spending money on dates that are not going to go anywhere. And then the end game ends up being that you falsely invested in something that's not going to go anywhere anyway. So why invest in a relationship? Why invest in dating? Why invest in being with someone who doesn't want what you want? And that's ultimately to be with someone. At which point you end up resenting the dating process. And this is why a lot of guys resent the dating process and spending money on dating, because they don't take the time to proper vet to find out if a woman even wants a relationship, period. And then you go on a date and she just wants to be a friend, and then obviously there's an anger or resentment there that you wasted time and money to spend time with someone that didn't want what you want. And this is why asking questions before you even meet face to face is so important. This is why this meet and greets are always better than going on actual dates. Because as you spend your money, whether on a date, one way or the other, you're going to have to financially invest in a situation that's going to allow you to better understand if you're talking to the right woman or not. Going to the parks is cool. Riding bikes, riding scooters is great. But even that takes a few dollars. You don't want to go on a bike ride and not even offer your date something to drink if she gets thirsty, or it's cold outside, and say, hey, let's go to the park, and not at least say, hey, you want to go to somewhere, a nice coffee shop so we can warm up and get some tea or coffee or cappuccinos or something. I'm not saying, and let's be honest, you don't really want to go do the Netflix and chill with someone that you see as a quality date that could turn into a relationship. So that's why I always say no romance without finance, because as you continue to spend time with someone and make them more of a financial investment, there comes a point in which you decide to spend more money to show them that you want to be with them. And that show them because you want to be with them thing could easily be a nice little small trinket, maybe like a bracelet, or maybe you buy them a coat or some gloves, because as we all know, in dating and romance, gifts hold sentimental value. So even if you give someone a gift of something that's important to you, it doesn't always have to be something that is going to be expensive. But the values and the most important things that we want in life to show a woman that we care involves a level of financial commitment, because in the end, our financial commitment as men equals the same level of commitment that we expect from women in sex and companionship. And so I always say, if you expect a woman to give more to you, as men, we have to do our part to give more to women. Because in dating, money equals loyalty, money equals respect, money equals progress, money equals commitment, money equals effort, and so on and so forth. And that's why as men, we have to continue to do our parts to financially invest in relationships to show the type of women we want to know, we want to date, we want to vet for a relationship to take us seriously for the same purpose. Because at the end of the day, in modern dating in the West, if you're not spending money on any level to try to get to know a woman for the purpose that she feels she should be appreciated by, then unfortunately, in many respects, you're just wasting your time. Because when it comes to things like being appreciated, there's a certain level of effort that's involved. And that's why I say 15 to 20%, 10 to 15% of your check should go into a nice date, and let's keep in mind, we're just talking about dating. And even when you're dating, your money should never be spent you should never be giving her money. It should be spent on the date. It should be spent on whatever you decide to eat or drink. But you never spend money directly, meaning you giving her money in the dating process. That's for the relationship. Once there's a certain level of commitment. And I've had guys that say, hey, I met a young lady that wanted me to give her money because she was having a problem with bills. And I'm not against that. Like, things happen. And I tell those same guys, then it's only fair to ask that young lady to give you a level of commitment if she's expecting you to give her money for something she got going on. Because at the end of the day, the purpose of dating is to build successfully so that everyone can mutually benefit from the situation. And the only way we can do that is if we're both coming to the table in good faith. And if you're expecting me to spend money on you and we're not even, you don't even commit to me romantically, then how fair is it that I even consider giving to you in the first place and not be taken advantage of? So again, when I say no romance without finance, I don't want people to feel, or want guys to feel, that I'm saying you got to come to the table and just be throwing money and just make it rain, or else you're wasting your time. Because that's not the case. What I'm saying is that we have to come, as men, we have to come to the table in good faith and let women know, hey, if we're expecting you to come to the table with sexual intimacy and companionship, the least I can do is come to the table with money that will pay for our outings, for our dates, for the things that we do, to give you an opportunity to vet me for that relationship that we would both want. And in order to do that, we have to put enough in the pot, per se, in order to make that woman want to even be interested in us. So guys, not saying you got to be rich and you got to throw your money everywhere, but just saying that there is a level of commitment that's needed if you want a woman to take you seriously. Whether you agree with it or not is beside the point. The point is, this is what it takes in order to date in this modern society, whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, then good luck to you, but luck doesn't really help much in dating. It's more about doing what's realistic and acting on those instincts. So, as always, I know I ran a little bit longer than normal, but I promised myself this year I will not let the time constraints that I used to have hold me back from being able to give a full explanation, because I did get a few messages from people that asked me why don't I go more in depth, and I used to let a time constraint hold me back from being fully in depth with my videos. But this year I made promises to people that I would actually take the time to break down the essence of what I'm saying, instead of just, rushing my points so I could keep my videos within a certain time limit. So, thank you all so much for joining. No romance without finance. As always, till next time, peace. We are gone. See you next time, guys. See you next time, guys. hopefully y'all like the topic. I know money is a touchy thing in dating, so hopefully I didn't touch anyone too much on the bad note. And again, this is a discussion, so feel free to drop your comments to let me know how you feel. Hopefully, we can begin a positive and respectful discussion.